So, around 1993, we're in Europe. I was kind of the joker in the band. And I go into this, it was like a humor store or something, like a joke store in Germany. I'm like looking around, like, yeah, I wonder if these guys, what they got here, I can buy and fuck with the guys in the band. And the guy's like, yeah, we have these. And he shows me this. What's that? It's like, it looked like a little piece of paper with a little tab of gunpowder on it. I'm like, what's that? He's like, oh, put it in a cigarette and boom. Like, all right, I'm gonna get a case of those.
One of the funnier stories when we were on tour, and it was always a point of contention, was smoking cigarettes. Obviously, some people like them, some people hate them. If you're in a van with somebody and they're smoking all the time and you don't smoke, I mean, it's just not a fun thing. So,
smoking, everyone's smoking, and there's me, and I'm just like sitting in a van, miserable, like this.
Rory was always a militant non-smoker. He never smoked cigarettes. He hated them. He hated that we smoked. He always complained about it. And we were jerks and just smoked anyway. Sorry, Rory.
Those fuckers, if they're going to smoke in the van, well, I'm going to fix them. I'm going to put a cigarette load. Well, take a piece of paper, which is basically a tab of gunpowder, put it in the cigarette, and one of those guys would like, and those guys would get so pissed at us. And at one point, Tony and Steve said, if you do that again, we're going to kick your ass. They were going to just kick my ass. I'm like, you guys can't kick my ass. You guys are smoking in the van. So at that point, I'd open up their cigarettes and put a few cigarette loads in there. Well, like 2 weeks go by, and we're somewhere in the middle of nowhere in Germany. And we get to this hotel, and we hear Fugazi's at the club or at the hotel that night. So like, oh, cool, Fugazi. Love to meet the Fugazi guys. Well, we got to wake up at 7 in the morning to get to the next place we're going to. And we're sitting in the hotel lobby, and all of a sudden, Ian McCay comes down there with the singer, and they start talking to Steve, because Steve somehow knows Ian McCay.
We see Fugazi basically hanging out in front of the hotel, and I decide, hey, I'm going to go up and say hi to Ian, because I think I had talked to him once on the phone. So I walked up to him, and Ian was famous for he was straight edge. He's like he was a straight edge guy. But I kind of rolled up to him. I was in Germany. Everybody smokes in Germany. So I'm smoking a cigarette talking to Ian. And a couple puffs in, the cigarette explodes in my face.
Bam! Whole cigarette blows up, goes all over Ian McCay. Ian McCay's like trying to pat himself out.
And Rory starts laughing, and I didn't know what had happened. I was just kind of shocked. I'm like, what the hell just happened?
And I'm dying laughing. I'm crying. I can't. It's the funniest thing I'd ever seen in my life. And the whole cigarette blows onto Ian McCay, and Ian McCay is like, straight edge. And Steve goes, Koff, that's fucked up.
And Ian looks at me, and then looks over at Rory, and says, hey man, did you do that? That's really uncool. There's probably more chemicals in that load that you just put in his cigarette than what he was smoking.
And Ian McCay's like, yeah, man, that's totally fucked up. I go, well, what's more fucked up? Me teaching them a lesson with the cigarette loads, or them smoking in the van and me not smoking? He's like, well, it's fucked up too. The cigarette load blowing up all over Ian McCay was a classic story. It was just, don't drink, don't smoke,